Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming to this Optical Monitor event. The Optical Monitor is a very nice project that we have developed together with Silmo. I think it's a great opportunity to share information coming from the market, and it's very good to have this 2 times per year. This is the 7th wave. And we have focused, together with GfK, on the consumer habits on 4 specific markets, US, China, Russia, and Japan. And we have made some comparison with the European markets. I think the result of the research is pretty interesting. I will not anticipate the results, of course. We will have Giampaolo, Simone, and Stefano getting into the details, but you will see some new data coming out from the research they have made. So I think we can start. Thank you very much for coming. I just give the microphone to Amélie to share the participation.
Thanks, Giovanni. Once again, thanks for being with us today. We are very glad to share with Mido the optical monitoring, and Simone will show us the result of the monitoring. So Simone, your turn.
Yeah,
we see it over there finally.
Hello? Can you hear me? Yes. Buongiorno, signore and signori. Bonjour, madame et messieurs. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, thank you very much for the warm welcome. And also thank you very much for both the presidents to give us the opportunity to present the results of actually the 7th wave already for the optical monitor. Just before we go into the details, let me give you some information about the objective and the background. So why did we do this study, and why was it set up together with Silmo and Mido? So both fairs wanted to get a deep dive into consumers' behavior in terms of information and shopping, and about the latest trends. So the interest groups actually are, of course, manufacturers, opticians, but also designers, journalists, so all the audience what we have here on the fair. The methodological approach, that means how did we do it? We did a representative study in the 4 countries, so US, China, Russia, as well as Japan. We conducted 1,200 interviews with consumers, and we also generated the figures of Euro 5. So you see the benchmark figures for Europe, which consists of Italy, France, Germany, Spain, and the UK. So just give me a little bit about the economic background. So what actually is the global economy look like? When you look at the global economy, we have a moderate growth. Also, when you see the key focus countries, US, China, Russia, and Japan, they've recovered, especially Russia, and we see a green signal. So whatever you hear also from the IFO Institute, that means economy on a global level as well as all countries is doing well. That means for the consumers are in a very good mood. And does this also account for the optical market? Just one note from our side is that all the results what you see here are the subjective evaluation of consumers. So it's nothing where you see market data, what we just heard in the previous presentation. It's actually the subjective evaluation of consumers. And we would like to focus on optical glasses as well as sunglasses without corrective lenses. This is important. Yes. So step into the data. That means, let me explain some key facts of the slide. What you see here at the top of it is the topic. So for example, main equipment owned. You see at the top the different countries as well as the reference data of Europe. You see on the left side the different categories, so that means items, what we're talking about. And you always see two bars. The darker colored bar refers to the current wave, and the lighter colored bar refers to the previous wave. So when we talk about what is the main equipment which is owned by consumers, we see that in the US and Russia, they show a higher penetration for sunglasses, while in China and Japan, optical glasses are more penetrated. Interesting to see is the trend in comparison to last wave. So have a look at the US first for sunglasses. So we see quite an increase, 61%, so about 2/3 of consumers own sunglasses. And what's the reason behind? It's still that sunglasses are referred to as a fashion item and also then a purchase driver. Also for reading glasses, we have a huge positive trend in this wave, meaning where does it come from? We see 27 to 36%, and this is because in the market the penetration is wider, so consumers do have access to different purchase channels, and also the prices have gone down. And last but not least, for contact lenses, we also have a positive trend. So in the US, consumers are using more contact lenses than in the past. And this is actually due to the fact that we have quite a lot of newcomers, meaning dailies and weeklies are used more often than in the past. Also have a look at Russia. Russia, we have a slight negative trend in comparison to last wave. And this comes from the fact that obviously people stop using optical glasses for different reasons, but switch to, for example, optical glasses. After having heard of what people own and what do people possess, let's have a look at what are the different products used for. So again, you see the similar setup of the slide. The size of the bubbles give you a hint of how important, how high is the percentage. And again, the darker colored bubbles refer to optical glasses, whereas the lighter colored bubbles refer to contact lenses. And looking here at the first side, you see that for in-home activities, optical glasses seem to be preferred more often. Interesting to see that for driving, actually, especially in Russia, but also in Japan, in the US, and also in China, in comparison to Europe, contact lenses are preferred more often. And this is quite an interesting phenomenon. For casual events, that means when going out, but also whenever we say the look matters, contact lenses are used more often for sports events, so whenever glasses might be an obstacle. So how often are optical glasses as well as contact lenses bought? So when you look at the first row, you see the reference data for optical glasses. And we see in comparison to Europe, in China, as well as in the US, optical glasses are both most frequent. So every roughly 2 years, Chinese or US consumers bought optical glasses. Least often, optical glasses are bought in Japan and in Russia on the third place. In Russia, we have a slowing down trend in terms of purchase frequency. And this comes from the fact that obviously brand and fashion don't matter that much in terms of optical glasses than in the past. So in the past, when you remember, it was really a topic that means Russian people especially wanted to have optical glasses more frequent in terms of a fashion item. In Japan, we see an increase in the purchase frequency, and this has to do with health aspects. So also when we come to the purchase drivers, we see that health is really an important fact. Oh, sorry. When we look at sunglasses, it's a similar picture. Again, in Japan, less frequent in comparison to the other countries. So what's the reason actually to buy or to replace optical glasses? You see on the left side different items, different attitudes, different reasons. And the most important reason is that there are changed health aspect, followed by also products or new products are available. And least often, products are worn by celebrities or a larger variety of styles is mentioned. And the picture looks very similar to all of the countries. For sunglasses, also the damage of the lenses and the frames or the loss of glasses are the main reasons to replace an old one. And this is valid for all the different countries. Also for sunglasses, the topic celebrity wearing is not really an issue. Yes, so far for the introduction. I would now hand over to my colleague Giampaolo to do a deep dive into optical glasses. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone. Thank you. Now we are going to highlight the main trends in those 4 countries. I can anticipate that we have found 8 main trends that represent really an opportunity for all the players in the market. So let's start. First of all, about channels and digital. We all remember that last time we discussed a lot about this topic. Omnichannel is, of course, now a well-known topic. And so how is going digital and e-commerce in that business? And we can see that specifically in US and in China, in red, in the slide, the online sales represent 15% in US and 16% in China, so the business is growing. However, all the offline sales still represent 85% of the business, more or less everywhere. And if we deep dive in the channels, and you'll see that in blue there are the optical retailers. So in the dependents in light blue and the chains in dark blue, they are the most important channel in this market, and I would say that represent really the crucial market for the industry, for the optical glasses product. We have also highlighted in US and in China the optical retail website sales, just because sometimes, like in US and China, it is happening that the decline of sales in the offline channels is, of course, compensated by the online sales of the retailers. So this is a trend, and this is the first trend that we would like to highlight for you. So the optical channel remains crucial for the business, and the opportunity is to exploit the online platform. Then, in terms of purchase drivers, I must say that within the first position, we see always functional aspects that drive the purchase. For example, the weight of the frame, the health aspect, the material, advice of a doctor. So the category is still very much related to practical drivers, and this is not changing country by country. But keep in mind that people have different attitudes. So in the data, we know that, for example, more than 80% of respondents said that they would like to buy products that can be tailored on their own needs. So it means that this is an opportunity both for retailers than for industries. And specifically, when we look at the shape, at the style of a glasses, I have my own personal style is crucial. In China, for example, this is something that is, everyone would like to have a personal style, 87%, or in the US, 79%. When we look at the product specification for optical glasses, this is, of course, a picture that reports some trends in comparison to the previous wave, like, for example, that in US and in Russia, metal frames are growing. On the opposite, in China, the plastic frames are recovering, and that is also something that we will see later on. For example, when we see not the material but the style. So of course, plastic means also full frame, and in China, they got now 62% of sales, and it means that, as we said before, personal style, customization, everything is connected also to the product. And so the ability to mix in the right way material, shape, but also the style of glasses, it will be the challenge and the opportunity for the optical glasses industry in those 4 countries. Just a note, as you see, we in this slide, we do not have the trend, but we just have the split for male. You see on the left, male results, and the female results on the right. If we compare the data with Europe, rounded is now dominating the other countries, specifically in China, and specifically for women. So it's another idea and another opportunity for the market. When we go to the sunglasses market, and again, starting from the online sales, now the picture is more clear. The red is growing much faster, and specifically if you see the China results, now 21% of sales belongs to online channels. And if we deep dive in the data, for example in the US, respondents living in big cities are saying that for them online is 21% of sales, so 26% of sales. So it's a clear opportunity. It means that another macro trend, so the third trend, the e-commerce, is crucial. In terms of potential improvement for online, this is a good topic for all those that are dealing on the e-commerce and the e-commerce platform. And cheaper delivery at home is crucial, or is well expected in the US. Consumers in China are saying that they would like to have better or more payment methods available. And in Russia, it seems a question much related to the, let's say, the website that seems to be too much complex for for browsing products on internet. And now I just want to explain a little bit the slide because it's always full of colors. We have a comment about channels and about sunglasses. So just saying that for optical glasses, we said that opticians are crucial. For sunglasses, the story is different. Sunglasses are going more or less everywhere. And you see that specifically in some countries, like in US, like in China, like in Russia, fashion stores that are highlighted in pink are important and are growing, are gaining market share very quickly. And if we focus that channel, and in that channel will include fashion department store website, department store, fashion store, sunglasses specialist. In US, for example, the fashion department store websites has 7% of market share, 8% for sunglasses specialists. In China, sunglasses specialists has 21% of market share, and they are growing very quickly, and the same in Russia. Another quick note on something new. The industry jumped in the sector pretty recently, and the data are showing, specifically in US and in China, that we call it official brand websites gain immediately a good market share. It's 6% in US and 10% in China. So good point for the industry and for those brands that enter in the e-commerce business. So fourth trend is the sunglasses spreading in the fashion landscape. But, and this is a good point for retailers, if so consumers are going digital, are going in different shops to buy sunglasses, but at the end, the experience in the retail still remain crucial to gather information. So retail, if you see, this is in US, in China, and in Japan and in Russia, remains the first touch point for getting information for sunglasses. And so the fifth trend is the experience. 72% says retail is the primary touch point. And another good point is that look and feel of a product is very important to me. In China means 84% of consumers, in Russia 81%, and in Russia 77%. So it's very important at the end to touch the product, to feel the product, the material. In terms of purchase driver, again, if we said for optical glasses, the drivers are very much related to functional aspects. In that case, cool design, elegant design, material, sexy design are crucial. And so another trend, cool and elegant design. 37% on average says design is extremely important when I'm choosing sunglasses. And consider product specifications. So material of frames, we saw that the market is not changing so quickly. But sometimes, like in China, metal frames are growing well and represent now 37% of the market, and also in Russia. So this is an opportunity, of course, for the industry. Mixed frame in US are also growing, and now as 7% of sales in the country. And in terms of style of shape, specifically for women, 1 woman out of 3 owns rounded sunglasses. So this trend is very strong on sunglasses, and it's, for example, in China 37%, in Russia 40%, and it's also important for male. So this is another clear trend to catch. And the 7th trend is round shapes, is a clear opportunity, and this is connected to the attitude of consumers, that they would like to try to change their fashion style, or some part of their fashion style, buy something new every season. So we close this part with an opportunity for the industry to, that means try to challenge your stylist, try to launch new models, and Mido is always an occasion to show new sunglasses coming on the market, and try to know better the consumers, because in the data we see that there are some macro trends that can be catched. And Stefano now is going to close this optical monitor presentation with a focus on a specific target that is cross in those countries called Cosmopolitan Trend. Thank you.
Okay, why it's important now at this moment to understand the client and to make a target segmentation? Because we are living in a complex reality. Customer, client, consumer is becoming more and more complex, more and more hard to understand, and it's more and more difficult for industry to customize the offer and to make the offer personalized to the segment, to each segments. Giampaolo showed us the data, for example, between the difference between male and female in terms of shape or style preferred, but maybe this is not enough, because within the male segment we know that there are different souls, and within female segments we know that there are much more different souls. So this year we try to build up a target segmentation, and I will tell you the different segments that we have identified in sunglasses market, with a deep dive on one particular segment. I think that the most relevant and the most important for the industry. We call them the Cosmopolitan Trend, and then we later I can explain you why the name of the Cosmopolitan Trend. When we build up a segmentation study in order to identify different souls of sunglasses owner, we take into consideration not just the socio-economical information, I mean gender, occupation, age, educational level, and so on, but we take into account also the usage and the attitude toward the optical market, which channel they prefer, which source of information they use to inform before the purchase, which is the purchase drivers, and in which channel they buy their sunglasses. And moreover, we take into account also who they are. I mean, these variables, these information are very crucial to identify the different segments. Because I'm a male, 40 years old, maybe I'm similar to another male, 40 years old, if we consider socio-demographic information. But I'm completely different if we take into account the life learnings. I mean, the self-perception of myself, my lifestyle, also the attitude toward fashion and toward behavior in terms of purchase, which drivers for me are important when I take a decision of purchase one sunglasses, which are my attitudes toward fashion. I'm a follower, I'm a trendsetter, and so on. So we put in the statistical mixer these three big families of indicators, and we obtain four different segments, very, very similar inside, but very different between one and another. We call them, first of all, the Cosmopolitan Trend. this is the segment definitely most important for the industry. And then we go in depth, we will make a deep dive on this segment. This is segment, this is the top of the pyramid of socioeconomical level, especially when we talk about trend, when we talk about fashion, when we talk about sunglasses. We identify another segment important. We call it being active. This segment has a functional relationship with sunglasses. It's almost young. It's very important, but it's not so. So orientated to fashion and to structural aspects of sunglasses. Another segment that we call it elegant and classic ladies. This is a segment quite older, composed mainly by women. Here in Milan, we can call this group the Shure. Sorry for the translation service, but this definition is quite close to this segment. They are interested not in fashion, but in be elegant. And the fourth segment is the elder segment, quite marginal. They use sunglasses almost only for ideological protection of their eyes to the sun, but they are not affected by fashion or by any sort of structural aspect. And this analysis allows us also to build up, to create a landscape of sunglasses ownership, and the landscape is defined by two axes. On the left, follower, on the right, trendsetter, up, fashion style, on the bottom, functional style. And we can position these segments, our clusters, in this landscape. So we see that as I told you before, the Cosmopolitan Trendy target is the most relevant because he is able to put together the capability to influence other people, to be trendsetter, and then and the sensitivity to fashion style that allows them also obviously to be the trendsetter. Being active is important, but is more related to functional style, to functional usage of sunglasses. They make sport, they go outdoor, they like to travel. They are very active. I mean, they are very active, but they are not so affected by fashion aspects. The classic ladies is in the middle, and then the marginal segment is bottom on the left. But if we go in depth to analyze and to describe the Cosmopolitan Trendy, we know a lot of things. But before let's see that these segments we're seeing the weight on the global level. I mean, when I talk about global level, I mean the 4 countries that were surveyed, so US, China, Japan, and Russia. But the proportion, the weight of each segment is quite different among the countries that we have analyzed. For example, in the US, we are more cosmopolitan lady. In Japan, we have more elegant and classy ladies, and so on. This is useful because we find a fil rouge, a sort of fil rouge of the Cosmopolitan Trendy among the countries that we have surveyed. But I mean, there are quite differences between if we go to analyze this segment on the other segments in different countries. But let's talk again about Cosmopolitan Trendy. Who they are? I mean, they mix together almost all the 7 trends that Giampaolo shows us before. For them, quality is a must. Quality is a prerequisite. Sunglasses has to be quality. For them, experience is more important than possession. For them, the accessorize is a kind of expression of their self. Basically, they are half man, half woman. There's not some concentration in the female segment. And as I told you before, they are the top of the pyramid of socioeconomical society. So they are very active, they are quite young, and they are white collar. I mean, white collar is also manager and so on. And they are living in the big countries, in the big cities, in countries we analyze: New York, Los Angeles, Tokyo, Shanghai. I mean, they are the trendsetter in sunglasses world. But to understand in depth this segment, we have also to understand the relationship with sunglasses. And when I talk about relationship with sunglasses, I mean the touch point for info they used to get information, and the purchase drivers they take into consideration when they choose a particular style, a particular sunglasses. For them, digital is so important. Is the first place, the most important, the most relevant touch point when they get information about sunglasses, and in particular, the brand website. The brand official website for them is very, very, very relevant. But also they are omni-channel, so in the logic of cherry picking, they take information for one channel and then to another one and then to another one. But digital for them is very important. When they are choosing sunglasses, the topics connected with style, with design, with the latest trend are definitely the most relevant for them. We indicate here the difference between the Cosmopolitan Trend and the total population, and we see that we have a wide differences. So these aspects are able to define these segments. In terms of purchase channel, the first purchase channel used by this segment is sunglasses specialist. This analysis allows us also to have a picture of about the sunglasses owned by this segment. And we notice some interesting difference between these segments and the total population. They prefer more the cat-eye style, they prefer more half frames, they prefer more rimless, they prefer more titanium frame. This segment, as I say maybe too much times, is the most relevant because, I mean, this is the top in terms of fashion, in terms of usage of sunglasses. But this is the top, and this is to take. This is the segment that for the future can be really, really important for industry. Also in terms of value. The 73% of this segment will purchase a new sunglasses in the next year compared to 53% of the total population. But also in terms of value, they will spend about 151 euros for the next sunglasses. I mean, the 50% more or less, the 50% more of the total population. So this is the description of this important segment, and the industry, we think, that has to take into consideration a holistic description of this segment in order to customize in a better way the marketing actions, the product development, and so on. So I would like to close with the 8 trends. The 8 trends know your customer. We heard a lot about purchase drivers, but understand the customers is also a selling driver. The knowledge can maximize the effectiveness of the marketing action. 3 key information just to close. As regarding purchase driver, product has to have a cool design for this segment. It has to be sexy, it has to be stylish. Touch point, official brand website when they are searching for information is crucial for this target. As purchase channel, sunglasses specialist is the first channel used by this target. Why it's important to understand in depth this target? Because if we can hit this target in an efficient way, I'm pretty sure that the rest will follow. Because they can anticipate new trends and they are trendsetter, as we have seen before. So I hope this is interesting for you. We have finished, and see you at Silmo Paris 2018. Thank you. If there are some questions, we are here obviously for you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it was interesting. If you have spare questions, you can ask to the GfK people on the side. I just wanted to point out that there will be now this a speech from Mr. Francesco Morace on new generational groups where the innovation starts. So it's very interesting, and I invite you to stay in this room. Thank you very much.